episode of a pro wrestling guide for newbies. This is about the current wrestlers of WWE and Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA, and that was Total Nonstop Action. I'm going to say basically the different wrestlers that are currently on both rosters. Not the entire rosters of both. Not going to happen. There's a lot of people in both. That's over 100 people that are from both rosters, and I'm not going to explain them all. I'm just going to talk about 10 wrestlers from each promotion. The ones I feel that are pretty good, and with time will become better. Or, well, with time will retire, because some of them have been around for quite a while and they're gone off and branched into different things. So let's start with the company that is the most important at this moment, and that's WWE. The first wrestlers we're going to talk about are the men, because I'm going to talk about for both promotions, men and women. Ladies and gentlemen, you do have both sexes wrestling. So I will be talking about the men first. I can talk about the women, I'll switch it up with the other promotion. First person I'm going to talk about, who is basically the top of the food chain right now, who is the best known of WWE, and that's John Cena. John Cena has been around since 2002. He has now the most known of the current known wrestlers. I'm not talking about past wrestlers. That's another video I will be doing. But currently known, the ones who are still generally wrestling on a decent basis, is John Cena. And he is the most known. That's next to wrestling and social media. He's known, he's gone on the Tonight Show, he's gone on what is it, Saturday Night Live, he's done the Children's Choice Awards, he's done pretty much Make-A-Wish, and any other thing you can think of, he's done it. So he basically is the top guy there. Another person that's considered the top guy is Randy Orton. He came around the same time as John Cena. In fact, he came out first before John Cena. Around a few months before John Cena actually joined WWE in 2002. I think John Cena came out in July, I believe, and Randy Orton came out in maybe January. I could be wrong about the time. Anyone who knows when they both appeared, you can leave it in the comments below. But Randy Orton's been around for quite a while. Like John Cena, he has a very long record in wrestling. He has done certain things outside of wrestling, but not as much as John Cena. But he's well known in the business. Now for both men, they both have accumulated more than 20 championships between them. And I will be talking about championship titles in another video. But both of them easily have exceeded 20 championships together. One has done 13 championships, and that's, no, 12 or 13 championships with Randy Orton. And 15 championships, no, 16 championships with John Cena. I have to remember because it's a lot. But both of them are very well known. A new up-and-comer person that is now coming in the ranks is a Roman Reigns. He's not really liked very much by the people, but he's been pushed. He's well known. They hate him. Even though he's a good guy, the people hate him. That's a long story to explain, but he is well known in the WWE right now. He has had a championship title run, and he is one of the people that's seen the majority of the time on the WWE network and on the main show. A person who is, well, might as well say it, he's been around for almost 20 years, at least 20 years, and he's currently active in WWE, and this is Chris Jericho, Y2J as they call him. That's a long story about explaining why is he called Y2J, Chris Jericho, but he's been around for quite a long time. He has many titles himself, multiple titles across multiple different times, and a couple in different promotion. A wrestling company as we call it, promotion. He has been known for many years. He's charismatic, he's interesting. A lot more interesting in many cases than Randy Orton and John Cena. He has been very charismatic. He's been fun as a bad guy and a good guy. You can love him to death. You can despise him, but he's always been there to be remembered. Another one who's been around for a while, maybe a little after John Cena and Randy Orton, has been The Miz. His full name is Michael Mizbin, but he's known as The Miz, and he's a bad guy. And to be honest, for the WWE, They need good bad guys that can really make people angry. If you've ever heard what I've said about bad guys, like in the basic rules, that is my second video. You'll understand that a bad guy is a people hate. And this is a person people despise. They hate him. Not like a Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is hated because of a different situation. But as a bad guy, he is hated. He's the best one they have. And people just love him for that. That he's a bad guy. He's so bad, he's good. The last person I'm going to talk about as being on the WWE roster for men is Kevin Owens. He's an up-and-coming guy that's been there for a couple of years. He has a great potential to really be interesting and liked and cared about. He makes you boo him because of his attitude. He also is very good as a wrestler. And I know a lot of people are not 100% fond of Kevin Owens. Not because he's a bad guy, but they think he's a little overrated. I don't believe he's 100% overrated, but I do believe that if he's not presented properly by the company, he becomes a feeling of being overrated. I don't believe he is. But he's very good. And in time he will get better because he's only been in the company for a couple of years. About 2 or 3 years now. In the main company's roster of wrestlers. Now it's time for the women. First woman I'm going to talk about is a woman I love very much, who is a champion currently right now, and her name is Naomi. Originally named Naomi Knight. She's been around for about 8 years. She has been not really treated very well by the company because it's kind of hard to explain women's wrestling, and I will have to make a video on women's wrestling because it's a bit different than men's wrestling. Not because the moves are different. It's just how the company not just utilize the women, but really, what is the word? Really value them. Unfortunately, the company can be stupid when it comes to women's wrestling, and they deserve better. But Naomi Knight is a current champion, one of 2 champions that's current in the company. She's been around 8 years, and I believe that she's one of the best women's wrestlers there. When it comes to her talking as a woman's champion, she still needs a little work, but believe me, you would not be bored with her. You will love her if you got a chance to really see her. Another woman who is currently a champion is Bayley. She's another woman's champion. I'm not 100% fond of Bayley, not because I hate her. I just don't believe they really utilized her properly, and that's the company. I don't believe they made her very interesting. But it doesn't mean she isn't a good wrestler and can be very good as an interesting wrestler to care about. She's been around maybe about 5 years or 4 or 5 years in the company and had really just gotten a title in the last year. And I just feel like, she could be treated better and could become something very good in the future. Another woman is Charlotte Flair, or we call her Charlotte. Her father, who is a former wrestler for WWE, is Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Her father has been wrestling since the 1970s, and he recently retired around 2008, 2007. So she has been wrestling maybe about 5 or 6 years at least. And she's done pretty well. Admittedly, for me personally, she is very boring because of how they packaged her. In other words, how they've been presenting her in the company. They haven't given me a reason to really care that much about her. Also, even though she's not bad as a wrestler, I do believe they might have rushed her a little bit, and she needs a little more time to develop as a wrestler. She's not bad, but I believe she could have done better with more time. But I believe the reason they did that is because they had problems and they had to bring up women's wrestlers they knew could do something interesting. Here's another women's wrestler. This is Sasha Banks. Now I have to say, as a small woman, she's not a large woman. She's actually quite small. She is a very good wrestler. She's a very good talker. And she's also a champion, former one. I do believe they did bring her up at the right time, but I do not believe they're presenting her properly. I do believe they've been presenting Sasha Banks very badly. The Boss deserved better. That's her nickname, as they use in the company. The Boss. And she has proven when they use and present her properly, very interesting. But as it stands now, no. And that should be it for the WWE. Now this is for Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA, which is Total Nonstop Action originally. Or Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. They've been around for not as long as the WWE. But they have been producing very good wrestlers over the years. The current wrestlers I'm going to talk about are the women first. Now the current champion of the women's wrestling is Rosemary. And as you can see from the picture, she looks weird. She's got heavy face paint. She's sticking her tongue out. You're going, what the hell am I looking at? This is a woman that's considered a bad guy, but a very dark, sadistic, weird, destructive woman. That will destroy you. That will get into your psyche and terrify you, make you lose your cool, make you lose control. She has done a very good job since she became champion of Impact Wrestling. I actually love her myself. I do love her very much. She's such a great wrestler. She's also very good as a talker. And the company generally has presented her very well. At this moment in time, the company is going through a transition with new management. So I don't know how long they're going to be keeping her in a good position. I don't know. But as it stands right now, she's good. Another one who's currently not wrestling but is on Impact at this moment and could become a wrestler active again is Angelina Love. Angelina Love has been champion multiple times before for the same company as Rosemary, who's been a champion now once about now. No, I think once or twice once. She has not lost her title yet. Angelina Love has been a champion 5 times. No, 6 times. I'm sorry. 6 times. And she's been known for many years, almost a decade with Impact Wrestling. Nearing a decade now. She's very well known. She's very well loved. As a bad guy or good guy, people absolutely adore her. They adore her when she's bad and evil. They can't stand her. When she's good, they adore her and they love her. At this time, she's actually working with a husband who is Davey Richards. And Davey Richards is one of the Impact Wrestling people right now. I'm not going to mention him on the list, but I am mentioning him with her because they're working together as a team. And they're doing so well together. I just hope they stay there long enough to do something so well that they'll be remembered. Or be very memorable. The next person I'm going to talk about will be an older wrestler for the company, and that is ODB. One Dirty Bitch, as it's called for her. That's her shortened. I don't really remember what her original name was in Impact Wrestling years ago, but she's known as ODB, One Dirty Bitch. Personally, for me, as you can see the way that she's dressed, you see a lot of boobie. I just feel like she's a bit boring. She hasn't really changed her style of wrestling. It hasn't really changed her attitude as an interesting person. And to me, she's quite boring and I'm not really interested in her. I understand why they're using her because she's well known and she's not that bad in the ring and she is still loved by the crowd whether she's a bad guy or good guy. But for me personally, I'm not very interested in her. The next person that's a new person in Impact Wrestling is Cena. She's been there for maybe almost 2 years and she's done a very good job as a wrestler. Now recently she's been allowed to talk because she was working in a group of people. She really wasn't much, well, she didn't really have a chance to really talk, but now she can, and she's a very great talker. She gives you a reason to hate her as a bad guy, and I truly love her for that. She's also very good in the ring. So she's also a very good wrestler. And with time, I really believe that she will be a great women's wrestler that will be remembered no matter where she goes. The last person I'm going to talk about is also a new wrestler who's been around almost the same amount of time, and her name is Allie. Allie has had a very strange, how can I say this? Originally, when she was brought into the wrestling company, she was brought in as an assistant to somebody working for them. Then she transitioned from being an assistant to an actual wrestler. Now, it doesn't mean she doesn't know how to wrestle. She's actually a very accomplished wrestler. And her original name that she was known before she went into Impact Wrestling was Cherry Bomb. She was known as an extremely great wrestler with a great type of way of talking, a great personality that you can love, and that you can always just can't forget. But as it stands now, she's kind of been forgotten a little bit, and that upsets me a bit. It actually upsets me because I actually like her a lot. And I'm hoping that when the company actually finishes this transition, they'll remember that this is an incredibly great person to be using, and she will be seen and used properly again. Now it's time for the men. The top guy right now is Bobby Lashley. Now, this is a name you probably have heard about because this man has worked in mixed martial arts, as well as Bellator, which is a mixed martial arts company that allows fighting like boxing, as you already know about UFC Ultimate Fighting Champion. He's been very well known across the world, and now he is the current champion of Impact Wrestling. He's been well built, he's been well presented, he speaks pretty well now because he never was a great talker. But now he's a great talker with a great, how can you say this? His character, or as that's what we call it, his personality, we call it character, is a very good character that you can hate or you can love. Right now he's a bad guy-ish. Kind of hard to say if he's a bad guy or directly a good guy, but he's really a bad guy that just has not been beaten. He has no reason to really lie or cheat or steal in any type of situation. He just beats you. And I love that. Another person that's currently active is a person who's been known in the company since the beginning, and that is James Storm. James Storm has been in the company since it was founded in 2002. He has been wrestling for them generally almost on and off since its beginnings, and mainly on for more than 10 years. Maybe the last 2 years he went to another company, which was WWE. Then he went back, and he has been there since. I do like James Storm. He's a very good wrestler. He's a great talker. He is a great he has a great personality that either when he's a bad guy you just can't stand him, or a good guy that you just gotta love. Next person, and this is a person I personally like, is Eli Drake. Eli Drake is just so charismatic. His personality is overwhelming. He has a great physique. He's good in the ring, but unfortunately they are badly underutilizing him. And I do believe that's because of the new transition from the new government, well, not new government, the new company owners from the old ones. And I don't believe he's being utilized properly. I hope sooner or later he will be utilized properly. Sorry for the noise outside, a lot of bikes going on. But I hope one day he will be utilized properly, but as it stands, he's really not being utilized. But whenever you see him wrestle or talk, you know it. You know how good he is. The next person is Nick Magnetism, or Magnus as he's known. He's been around for quite a while. He went from another company and came back, and actually is a champion right now with a title. It's not Impact's title, it's from another company that's now going to merge with the current Impact Wrestling company. It was called Global Force Wrestling, and he is the current champion of that. And because the two different wrestling companies are merging, he's still known as the champion there. Yes, different companies can merge together to create a new company. Sometimes the original titles that are from that company are kept, sometimes they're forgotten, but at this moment it's just beginning. He's very good as a talker, he's very good in the ring, he has a great character, he has great charisma. You would like him when you see him. And the last person I'm going to talk about is EC3, Ethan Carter III. Now this person has worked in WWE, and he's currently working in Impact Wrestling. He has been there for many years now, and he is a very good talker. At one point, he was the champion of the company. He had the title that Lashley holds today. And he has a great character. He's incredibly great as a talker, actually better than Lashley. He isn't as good in the ring as Lashley is, but it doesn't mean he can't wrestle as well. He just gives you something when you look at him. You just want to despise him when he's bad, and you want to love him when he's good. And as it stands right now, the way they're presenting him and using him, it's gotten better. Before it wasn't that good because they weren't treating him very well because of the beginning of the transition from one owner to the other for Impact Wrestling. But as it stands now, he's beginning to be shown again. Hopefully they'll keep going with him, but it's hard to tell. But this is just my feeling about these wrestlers. When you look at Impact Wrestling, if you can look at it, and you look at WWE and you look at it, and you look at these wrestlers, you can figure out for yourself if you like them, if you hate them, or you really don't care either way. I hope you enjoyed this Pro Wrestling Guide for Newbies. Current wrestlers, please leave a comment below if anyone cares about saying what you know about any of the wrestlers I've stated. I've only given the bare minimum about these wrestlers. I don't know everything about them, and I'm only doing a brief overview of them. Anyone who knows even more than me, leave a comment. Let the new people who are knowing this, help them. We should help the newbies who need to understand wrestling and not say, you should learn this. Go and learn it. Be understanding to them. Give them a shot to understand. But it's just how I feel about it. Have a good day. Have a good